All right, so I know it's just preseason game number one, and you can't jump the gun. You can't push the panic button or anything like that. Yes, the Packers did not look good overall, but to be expected. The Detroit Lions went out in their first preseason game, didn't look good. They bounced back week two of preseason for the Detroit Lions. Now you're looking at the Packers. They looked really stale, really poor out there overall as offensively and defensively. But the Green Bay Packers get bad and worse news that we're going to talk about in this video. Okay, so number one is that injuries are starting to stack up and pile up when we start looking ahead to Week 1 against Detroit. Again, we're going to have a home opener, first time since Matt LaFleur has been the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, that we're going to be opening at Lambeau Field. And what better way to set the tone in the division than to have everybody out there healthy, ready to go. And now injuries are starting to become an area of concern for the Green Bay Packers, and the season hasn't even started yet. Okay, so Christian Watson likely to land on the Packers reserve pup list to start the season. Of course, that's not a big shock or surprise. I think that should happen. I would rather have a healthy Christian Watson ready to go come week 5 or 6 for the Packers. And then you've got Jayden Reed. All of a sudden his ankle gets rolled up. And is that an area of concern? Of course, his comments after the game didn't leave the Packers with a whole lot of hope of, okay, like how bad is this? Is this ankle sprain? Is it a sprain? Is it a high ankle sprain? Because if that's the case, then we're looking into probably week 2 or 3 of the regular season. But thankfully, we have a lot of depth on our wide receiving core out there. Okay, so other bad news that I saw was the middle of the field defensively for Jeff Hafley just did not look good. And one of the main contributors to the ugliness was Isaiah McDuffie. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and pull up YouTube. You can look at highlights of week one's performance against the New York Jets. And Isaiah McDuffie was guilty of a lot of inerrant plays, a lot of misposition, putting himself in some awful spots. And then you have Isaiah McDuffie. Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah McDuffie did not look good. Isaiah Simmons, of course, on this overall, Simmons didn't look that bad. Okay. So on this particular play, though, he looked terrible. Okay. So Isaiah Simmons didn't put himself positionally in a great spot, but again, that can be corrected. I think Jeff Hafley has an absolute gem. If you take a look at just, he looked super confused right there. He obviously took his eyes off of the guy he was supposed to be in coverage with, and then all of a sudden he's confused. He's turned around, and then this is what you saw the entire time was just the middle field was just completely there. But here's what I love right here, and I think this is, it says right here, Isaiah Simmons is going to have a career resurgence with us. I think that is absolutely going to be the resounding theme. I don't want you thinking that I think poorly of Isaiah Simmons. That just happened to be a poor play. So the linebacker core as a whole for the Green Bay Packers looked bad. Not all bad for the Green Bay Packers. And I want you guys to leave your comments. What was your biggest area of concern? For me, it was the linebacking play. But you looked at Jordan Morgan. He looked good offensively. You had Anthony Belton. So our offensive line looked good. There's some guys that had some really good performances out there. Let's take a look at the box score for this Green Bay Packer New York Jets game. Jordan Love, 1 of 5. 7 yards. Is that of area of concern? Absolutely not. His two plays that got passed, or his two passes that got broken up to Romeo Doubs, just happened to be better defense than it was a poor throw by Jordan Love. Jordan Love, he's going to be fine. The Green Bay Packer offense is going to be fine once you get Josh Jacobs out there. Amir Johnson, though, man, that dude looked super good. 7 carries, 67 yards, and a touchdown. Malik Willis, we know that dude is going to be good. 4 of 9, 39 yards, 1 carry, 5 yards. I'm not concerned about our offense, truly. When it comes down to it, I'm not concerned at all. Defensively, however, for the Green Bay Packers, Tyron Hopper looked good. I thought Hopper showed some good stuff. Kobe Wooden looked good. I really like that dude. I'm excited about Kobe Wooden. Not as pumped up about Isaiah McDuffie in the play that we saw out of him, but one guy that I'm super pumped up about is Sorrell. Okay, so I'm going to show you this play by Sorrell. Just take a look at you. You see everything here. You get speed, you get power, you get some bend, real active hands, like this says right here. That's what you saw out of Sorrell. So I'm super pumped up. I think Jeff Hafley's super pumped up. I think he's going to have some weapons on our defensive line to put some pressure on the quarterback. Again, we added up 0 sacks in this game, which I'm not pumped up about. But when you start looking at, who are we out? We were without Nate Hobbs. And again, the middle of the field missed the presence of a guy like Nate Hobbs or an Isaiah McDuffie who's hurt. Can we get these guys back by week 1 against the Detroit Lions? That's going to be the biggest area of concern. Can we get back Jayden Reed? Are we going to lose more guys? Because you can expect that to happen. We got 3 preseason games left. There's going to be some other guys going down with injuries. But I want you guys to leave your comments. Let me know your biggest areas of concern for this Green Bay Packer game that you saw. Offensively, again, not to beat a dead horse, but I don't think that there's going to be a whole lot of areas of concern when it comes to our offense. We've got a really good deep wide receiving room. Dontavian Wicks, can this dude hang on to the ball? Those are all questions that are going to have to be answered as the season progresses. But we're loaded at wide receiver. I really, truly feel that way. I think, if we can see what we have in Marshawn Lloyd, Josh Jacobs, we already know what that dude can do. So I'm not concerned about our running game there, but I am concerned about the health of Marshawn Lloyd. Can this dude stay healthy? He had a knee injury because he got popped by Nate Hobbs, and then all of a sudden he's got it's I think he had a groin injury, which that's what we saw out of him last year. Was the injuries just kept piling up on him, but you got the tight end play of Luke Musgrave. And we've got a lot of Tucker Kraft. I think is going to be one of the better tight ends, up and coming tight ends in this league. I think this Packer team, they are young and they're going to start playing together. They're going to start connecting. But defensively, can we put the pressure on the quarterback? Because when you get a dual threat quarterback like Justin Fields, like we saw, and when you put the pressure on him, you all of a sudden have the vulnerability of the middle wide open. And so all of a sudden you've got, okay, is this dude going to run? Thankfully, and the Packers defensively have to know with Justin Fields, a quarterback that's proven he doesn't keep his head up. When he starts scrambling, when he starts getting out of the pocket, his head is down. He's only going to run. He's only going to run. And if you saw the touchdown run by Justin Fields, you would see that Isaiah McDuffie went into coverage. He took his eyes off of Justin Fields. He should have known instantly that dude was not going to look up. He should have broken coverage, came up, made the tackle on Justin Fields. However, he stays in coverage. They score a touchdown, and the Packers have got to get that cleaned up. They've got to get their linebacking core cleaned up. The middle of the field, absolutely defensively, was a big sore spot for the Packers last season. And going into this season so far, into preseason game number 1, not anything to be crazy concerned about, but that's what I saw. I want you guys to leave your comments. Let me know your thoughts. And as always, go Pack Go.